Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessie and today I'm starting my May Buzzword Challenge vlog. This is another month where I kind of struggled to pick a book for the prompt. I think at first I was taking the prompt too literally and was looking for words that fit the prompt exactly and fell into, a literal meaning instead of just looking for one of the words that would match. And I also knew that I wanted to read a book on my physical TBR. And that's because I'm currently working through Peekaboo Reads on Instagram, her book buying band template where you read 20 books that you already own before you buy any more, and I think I read 5 or 6 at this point in time. And so I really want to make more and more of a dent in my physical TBR. So between that and taking the prompt too literally, I kind of struggled to pick a book. But this month's prompt is direction words like up, down, north, south, east, west, that type of thing. And so I think I was being too literal, like the wife upstairs. I can't think of any other words right now, but you know what I mean, just being too literal, thinking about too literally, and not being very flexible or creative. And so I checked some of the lists on Goodreads and Storygraph, and I saw a book that I already owned on that list, which is The Shoddy Setup by Lily Bell, and it has the word up in it, and it's not as literal, but the word up is in the book, so we're going to count it. This book follows Rita and Milan, and they were high school sweethearts who broke up, and now they are back in each other's lives, and it's kind of a second chance romance book, I think. But Rita's trying to prove that she's totally over Milan and she has a new boyfriend or fiance or something, and that they're the perfect match. So she signs up for this dating website or this matchmaking website to prove that she and her current partner are the best matches ever. And it turns out they are not, and that her best match is actually Milan. And so I'm interested to see where this one goes. I picked this book up on a whim several months ago, so I think back in October, because I remember going to this particular bakery at the end of my observation hours, and I ended up making a quick Barnes & Noble trip and picking up this book and another book. So I want to get this read. I'm interested to see how it goes. This isn't a very big book, so this could be a pretty quick vlog, or it could take a while because I'm currently in the middle of 2 books, and so I don't know if I want to start a third one right now, but they're all different genres, so I could definitely get away with starting a third one. But anyways, I will update you once I make it to the first third, really. Alright, so I am now about a third of the way through this book. I'm actually about to head to town and go to the gym, but I wanted to hop on real quick before I pull out of my driveway and let you know how this is going. I'm a third of the way into it, and so far I'm enjoying it. After reading the first chapter, I wasn't sure how I was going to like it. I was afraid it would just not read how I wanted it to, and I don't even know how I wanted it to read. I just didn't know if it'd feel right. But so far I'm having a good time with it. My only minor complaint is that it is told only from Rita's first person POV, and I do wish it had alternated points of view just because I like it whenever that happens, but that's not really a deal breaker. But so far Rita is in this relationship with this guy named Neil, and she is very much not over her high school boyfriend who she dated from the time she was 15 till they were 20, and the way he broke up with her was awful. But his reasons aren't unsound necessarily, but the way he did it was just awful. He could have done it completely differently, as well as, he kind of put the blame on her for something that, as far as we can tell so far into the book, couldn't have really been her fault. It's more of a time management issue on his side. So I'm interested to see how this goes. I'm kind of worried it's going to end up being just this big misunderstanding trope. Rita and Milan's moms are kind of meddling and have kind of set up a situation to get them to work together. Rita makes her living pretty much by flipping furniture and reselling it. And Milan is a realtor, I think, or a real estate agent. And they work together to not really flip this house, but to kind of, just do a little bit of interior design work on the house. And it's Rita's first time working with interior design. She's also definitely got a lot of emotions going on right now because, the guy she's currently dating, her mom will not approve of because, that guy's dad and her had a big issue whenever they were kids, and she's trying to prove to herself and everyone else that Neil is the perfect guy for her, and he is very obviously not. He leaves her constantly disappointed with his actions in so many ways. He's definitely a mama's boy, which isn't necessarily bad, but he's to the point where, his mom comes before anything else and anyone else. Then there's other things he does, like stays at work late without, really giving Rita a heads up. He makes promises he doesn't keep. And so I'm interested to see where the rest of this book goes. I was definitely a little bit worried whenever I read that she had a fiance or a partner or a boyfriend or something in this book, that it was gonna, possibly be cheating, and there still might possibly be cheating, but so far I don't like Neil anyways. He's not necessarily a bad guy, he's just not the right one. And I'm interested to see more of Milan and how that all develops. But anyways, I will update you once I read the next third. I think I'm probably going to read the audiobook while I'm at the gym, or read the ebook while I'm at the gym. I'm not sure which yet. I guess I'll figure that out when I get there. I am now officially 2/3 of the way through the shoddy setup, and I'm having a great time with this book so far. I've had so much trouble putting it down. I was going to update last night, but it's so late, and I knew that if I kept reading, if I updated and then kept reading, I was going to stay up all night, and I was going to wake up grouchy and have trouble functioning today. And so I just decided to call it a night and do an update real quick before Rowan wakes up. And then I think I'm going to listen to the audiobook for the last third while I do some chores. But I'm really enjoying the middle third. You get to see more of, you know, Rita and Neil, who is her current boyfriend, who he's not necessarily a bad guy. He's just very clueless, very oblivious. Rita, on the other hand, she is still very much set on proving to herself that she and Neil are a good match, even though you can tell that she doesn't really believe it anyways. She's also finished the first project she and Milan started working on together, and was offered to do a second project, but the second project has a little bit more sentimental value tied to it. You also get to see a little bit more of Milan in this part as well. I do kind of wish Milan had a POV, just so like we would know what he's thinking. Like, it definitely seems as though he's trying to win her back, but Rita's oblivious to it or ignoring it. I'm not quite sure which. But then maybe I'm also reading too much into it, but it's a romance novel, so am I really? But I'm having a good time with this book. I'm really interested to see what happens when they get back together. I'm really interested to see, you know, what will be said about how they broke up and about how Milan broke up with Rita, because I'm really not a fan of how he broke up with Rita, but like, if you think about it, like thinking about it, he probably did what he thought was right at the time. He just did it the completely wrong way, even if he had really wanted to break. So, you know, I'm interested to see where the rest of this book goes, and I'm having a really good time with it. I was a little nervous I wouldn't love this book, and I think that's because I fall into hype a lot. And so, you know, I read a lot of books that are all hyped up, and I don't really remember seeing very many people post about this book. And the day I picked it up, I kind of just picked it up on a whim, where I was in the town with the bookstore an hour away anyways for something else. We stopped at the bookstore, and this book and another book were both on the buy one get one half off table, and so I grabbed them, and those were the circumstances with how I ended up reading it, or how I ended up owning it. Anyways though, I will catch up with you once I finish the shoddy setup. Hey, so I just finished this book, and it is going to be a 5-star read for me. I have had so much trouble putting this book down over the past 2 days. I've just had trouble with it. If I haven't been reading the physical book, I've been reading the ebook if I was at the gym, or if it was like really late and Chris was already asleep, or I've been listening to the audiobook if I've been in the car or doing dishes or doing laundry. So I've just been really unable to put this book down, and I've loved it. My only complaint is that the misunderstanding trope did play kind of a role in their breakup, as well as them not hearing each other out also played a role in the third act breakup. But ultimately, I actually really like the way they got together. I like the way they sorted things out and how they came to be. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really particularly care for the epilogue, because the epilogue, which it really wasn't an epilogue, but it was a testimonial for the website that really didn't play as big of a role in the story as it could have, and that came off as an advertisement. So like, I get for you know, a show that they're gonna be doing in the future, like for the two characters will be doing in their feature in the book. But overall, I loved so much about this book, and I had such a great time with it. I also liked the way, you know, Rita got to learn a little bit more about her parents' relationship, because, you know, throughout the book, Rita is of the belief that her mother isn't necessarily happy to be with her father. And so I liked, you know, Rita kind of learning a little bit more about how that happened, or, you know, her mom's true feelings and stuff. But overall, I love this book so much. It's definitely right about Milan trying to get back with Rita pretty much the entire time. And he's like not really being subtle, but Rita's not really reading into it either. Or when she is, she assumes she's overthinking it. So overall though, this was a great book, and I had a great time with it. Anyways, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.